Our next guest needs no introduction, but I'll give her one anyway. Though her Drizzle Pablo is a Microsoft MVP for business applications, AI, and BizApp solution architecture, and one of the brightest community leaders redefining digital transformation across borders. With nearly a decade of experience spanning Dynamics 365, Power Platform, AI, and everything in between, Drizzle has led tech initiatives from Manila to Europe, all while championing knowledge sharing, mentorship, and inclusive community growth. Whether she is architecting enterprise grade cloud solutions or launching grassroots tech movements like Tech Bayanihan, she's got one goal: empower people through Microsoft technology. Ladies and gentlemen, to show us how Dynamics 365 and Fabric can work together, fresh from Sweden, MVP, Tech Bayanihan, and my MVP mentor, Driz Pablo.
Hey everyone, afternoon. So, hold on. I know I'm still setting up, so I'll just join the Teams meeting. How are you, everyone? All good? Just feel comfortable or chill. All right. So here again, magandang buhay, no? Magandang hapon. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing great. And thank you so much for that intro, Tony. I will not do further introduction. All right. So I will just skip my intro slide and we can always connect on LinkedIn. So you can just call me Drizzle. My background is really not tech before, really a business person. And then I just dabbled like around year 2018 when I shifted my career and then became a solution architect and a practice lead. Well, originally I'm into biz apps, but since we need to be updated with the latest information and there's really demand specific to my current customers and projects. So I really need to upskill. And I would like to commend everyone for attending. It's really a great investment. Your time, your presence is really a great investment for your future. Whatever your goal is in attending this event, that's perfectly good. Okay, so now a lot of you who always join my session, I love Slido. This is also like my TNA, so I can like tailor fit my messaging to everyone. Okay. All right. So, what tools do you use today for data analytics, like for reporting? Although ChatGPT or Alex already shared some, but I want to hear from everyone. Like, are you still using Excel? Are you excelling in Excel? Or do you still have power in PowerPoint? Or, yeah, we still have a lot of power now with Power BI. But the rest, that's good that I can see other platforms because we still need to be agnostic when it comes to technology, not just because we're here in the Microsoft office. We're just going to talk about no Microsoft, Microsoft. No, because Microsoft also loves others. Like before, that's why we call them third party, but we're embracing them in our ecosystem. All right. So here, thank you for the online attendees. Thank you so much for joining. Please participate as well. So it's also our engagement with you. So still, we're excelling both in Excel and Power BI and then the rest. Good. Next is, I would like to know the biggest reporting. It's skipping. Okay, the biggest reporting challenge today. It can be one, it can be a lot. You can, why it's still shifting? Someone's moving my PowerPoint. No kidding. Why? What's wrong? Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. All right. So, your biggest reporting challenge today, it's really moving. Tony. Please don't control my screen. Sorry, Microsoft. I mean, okay, we'll just stick with Microsoft platform. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. But you can just go to slido.com. Yes. Well, it's not reporting challenge for me. It's presentation challenge. Okay. Yeah. Data delay. Yes. Do you agree with this? I need a real-time update. But it was yesterday's update, yesterday's upload. right? Or last night, okay, data cleansing, data inconsistencies. All right. That's good. Keep them coming. It's okay. That's really our challenge. We really need to identify what our challenges are so that we'll be able to find what's the right solution. Okay? Not just because it's new, it's brand new, it's the latest, it's the hashtag trending, but what should be the right fit for your organization or for yourself. All right. So here, oh, I love this data cleaning. Yes. And then data accuracy. Yeah, no fake news within data, right? Mm, okay. Well, this is really like the global top of mind challenge. Jess. These are real. And it's all coming from you. We are all experiencing this and you're not alone. So that's okay. That's why I'm here. I will share some best practice or like what's the solution. Okay. Now I moved my slide, but it's not moving. Here. Okay. So my agenda will be like this. All right. We're going to have a tour, like a timeline, a time travel from the past. So we look back. All right. And then we look around. What's happening? What's the present day? Okay. And then the look forward. They say the future is with fabric. Let's see if it's really the future with fabric. Okay, so here, like on the look back, this is just an example because my background is within business applications. I'm really covering Dynamics 365, CRM, ERP. I can see some smiles. Is this familiar? This was way back, the old days, right? The X number of years. Are you still familiar? That's why I can see the smile. When I see you smile. Okay. All right. So, yeah, these are all like the old ways of reporting, right? Or it looks family. Looks familiar, right? Okay. But this is the reality in the past. That's why we're always updating and still we have data silos, data latency, and all. That's why for Dynamics 365 or any other applications, right, looks familiar with the interface and how you run the reporting. We have the cube concept, right? And then I remember as well, even now, like I was speaking to some of the stakeholders in Sweden. Like there's one CFO who asked me, Drizzle, I also want to have my cube. And okay, you'll have your cube. But for Power BI, cube is the semantic model now, and then the changing of the names. And then they said, no, we want to have a cube. Okay, yes, you have your cube in the Power BI because they're used to the old ways of reporting. So the cube. All right. And then so from then on, the CFO of Sweden, so whatever reports that I built, they call it Drizzle Cube. The Power BI reports that I'm building, she's naming it as my cube. All right. But that was really because they're used to the old ways of reporting. All right. Now, 2012. Well, it's being updated because we already have the standards or out of the box BIs in some applications, right? But we only have the basic graphs, right? The charts, the pie chart, the bar graphs, correct? And simple KPI, but still, we want something better. We want something more, okay? Like, for example, like on your questions earlier, I love it because you're really interested on how you're going to consume the data or the reports that were built because it will really be useless. Like even if you put so much effort and everything is laid out there and then your stakeholders and other users are not consuming it, it's really useless. Like zero. Okay. Like that was the session of chat. Now for Dynamics 365, as we move, well, you can think about it. It's not only Dynamics 365 when they move to the cloud, but also the other applications as well. So before Power BI is embedded within the actual application. But so Drizzle, you already said like Power BI is within Dynamics 365. But again, they're still not happy. Like the stakeholders and the users, it's because it lacks flexibility. Unlike the standalone Power BI that we can access straight from the browser. Okay. So they're still not happy. Okay, then let's move forward. What other solutions do we have? Here, these are the challenges that you've shared earlier. But we have this, the present time. Okay? So out from the cube, the SSIS. Are you familiar? SSIS, SSRS, SSS. But it's not part of the reporting, just SSIS, SSRS. So there. So here, we try to have the next gen reporting. Okay, for your ERP, CRM. So we have this integration. So before, in the Microsoft world, we always have, so after the SSRS, SSIS era, we have the BYOD, BYOL. So our stakeholders are like, okay, so are we on BYOD or BYOL? Okay. So before, we have here the data lake. But since Microsoft loves to change and deprecate technology, we really need to move again. So we have this, the move to Fabric. So Drizzle, like, what's going on with the existing customers with Dynamics 365 when it comes to their reporting? Well, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. We really need to move, or else goodbye. That's it. Because Microsoft will just give you a specific time frame, and you really need to adapt. You need to move. You need to migrate. You need to help these customers change. And that's really the reality. And I'm so happy that we can share it globally and in our community. So here we have, but it's easier now with the link. That's what we always say. When you move, it's easier. We have this adoption plan. We have this link. It's just like lift and shift. But there's still a but because you need to learn a lot. Okay? All right. Now, my question is, who among you already move a little or move a certain percentage to Fabric or explored Fabric, Microsoft Fabric? I know we have clothes, so it's made of fabric, but the fabric in relation to the reports. Raise your hand. It's okay. Who explored Fabric or your organizations are moving to Fabric? Currently moving. How about the rest? Started to visit Microsoft Learn or ask ChatGPT, what's Microsoft Fabric? Fabric versus Power BI. Because that's my first prompt to chat GPT. Okay, so what's the difference between Power BI and Fabric? Right? Is there really a difference? Why do we need to move? Did you ask Google or Bing or ChatGPT? So I can only see few hands up. How about the rest? Or are you also interested to like check what's with Fabric? Can you raise your hand if you're interested? How about our team's attendees? Yeah? Okay. Because you don't have a choice. So we really need to learn Microsoft Fabric because it's part of the data and AI solution area of Microsoft. But not just because we don't have any choice. It's because it's the future and it's how Microsoft is simplifying things. Before, I'm also like you. Like, I really don't want to check on Fabric. Really, I learned about Fabric like 2 Ignites ago, like 2 Microsoft Ignites. And I was so scared to even open the PowerPoint presentation or even the material about Fabric. Because it's like opening another can of worms. Like, is it that difficult or complicated? And then after 2 years, that's the time that, okay, I really need to learn about it. Why am I scared about this fabric? If Power BI is fun, right? I mean, with all the colors, I'm just looking at the brighter side of life and how you make your stakeholders happy. Isn't it great that when you share your reports, when you're done building your reports, and then your stakeholders, they have this smile on their faces, and then they're so proud to share, okay, they built this report for me, and this is how I run my business. This is how I operate my business. All my numbers are in green, and the business are great. It's because of you. It's because of you who built this report, right? So for Fabric, it's all in the one platform, like simplified, unified, making everyone lives easier. That's the pitch of Microsoft, which, to be honest, when I studied and understood, and when we implemented it, and we said, oh, okay. So there's nothing that you need to be scared of. So imagine, like, do you really need to know everything? All these workloads? All at once? Well, the answer is no. You can start with just one workload, a couple of workloads, because you don't need to like have real-time intelligence. RTI, it's another licensing, another capacity, different pricing, costing, and stuff. And if the organization is not ready, but Spotify has this, because Spotify is in Sweden, so they have real-time intelligence. Okay? And then the rest, IKEA. Sorry, that's IKEA. IKEA is because it's based in Sweden, so IKEA. Um, we have this. They have this Power BI and Fabric. They're also dabbling to data and AI and ML. So those organizations are way advanced, and we would love to share those with you. Okay, so we can start little by little, modular approach on how you learn and even in your organization. Okay, next. Sorry, Tony, what is my time? My timer stops. Yeah, okay. So I still have 12 minutes. Okay. All right, so here, presenting a simplified version on how you can, or I can just have my visual. It's so small. So here, my fama. So this is the fabric family that I was talking about with Tony. Like, oh, my topic will be Meet the Fabric Family, because later on, you'll have all the acronyms, but you'll realize the importance of these acronyms, because in the future, you'll also bring it to your organization. Sorry, I'm done with this part. I will also talk in this area. All right. So here, it's the Federated Analytics Mesh Architecture. It took me 1 year, to be honest, with all the study, having conversations with Microsoft, really challenging them. You can see a lot of architecture online, right? Even I tried like there's one Filipino, the lead of the global black belt team of Power BI and Fabric. And I really sent him a LinkedIn message. Hey, I challenge you. I'm doing something and I need your help, because can you evaluate what I'm doing? Because I need to have a solution for these global organizations, because they're asking me to drizzle, we need to roll it out. And for me, I'm also new. How can I do it? It will all start with learning. Actually, I have a list of all the sources on my OneNote and all. And if you can see my visual, there's actually 10 pages. I had revisions until we finalized, okay, this can be the one, simplified, scalable, and good fit answering this. Organizations always tell me, Drizzle, please ensure that it's still governed by IP, but the business domains owns the data, and the data is a product. It's data products. So the report, the semantic model, or the cube, this should be also owned by the different business domain in a specific organization. So just is it only for enterprise? Well, it's fit for enterprise, but also it's also fit for startups or SMBs. SMBs, it's easier for us to implement and understand, right? So here it's like the different boxes. You can start with the basic ones, like the gold medallion or the medallion architecture. So the bronze, silver, and gold on how we do the ETL, the data cleansing and stuff, right? But don't worry, we can have a separate session for that because it's gonna be lengthy, me explaining everything. But here, just think about this. We have different data sources, right? Organizations also need to check the data in social media, right? We also have internal database like the CRM, ERP. We also have some Excel file, images, videos, right? Different data sources. That's why we can all have here from the unstructured, semi-structured, and structured data. And then, of course, we do ingestion. So there's a specific component within Fabric that you can use on how we can just mirror it and how we can have cost optimization and some savings, right? So we can park that in the next session. Sorry, Tony, so I will just skip. And then, but pretty much the data management, the medallion architecture, how we run the storage. Of course, Fabric is positioning like you have one lake. It's like your one drive of data within Fabric. So that's it for now. And then you can learn later on, or we can have like a follow-up sessions later on about this. But this, we have the lake house. When should you use lake house versus data warehouse? It's also another layer of components, especially when we're doing the cleansing, the garbage in, garbage out, where should we store it? And of course, understanding where should we store it is equals to costing again. I mean, organization always ask you, how much? How much is that? How much will it cost? How much is the investment? So you always think not just the costing, but also scalability and sustainability. That's why we have this option on the store part. And then we run the transformation through the notebooks and how we're going to serve the data, and then how we make it secure. Then you know what? We also have ALM within the reports that we built, or the CI/CD. So we also cover that here on the specific part and how we run the management and the consumption, which Alex already covered. All right. And then the rest, what if we have a workload for AI, ML, and all? It's just easy. It's just going to be added here on the architecture. But this is our what? All right. Our FAMA. Okay. Now, the next question is the how. Sorry, Tony. The how. The how is this? Oh, this is the supporting. We're gonna build a data estate plan. You like that? I love it. This is the FAMDEP. Okay. So how we're going to set up your tenant, different businesses, and if you have offices across the globe or across the Philippines, or I've heard we have attendees from personal collection. So if you have different stores or location, you can think about this, right? So you have your one tenant, like your organization within Microsoft. And then when it comes to the management of the capacity, sorry, I haven't changed the countries because I was presenting this in EMEA region. So it's the France and all. And then I was sharing that the domain, the business domain should also manage and govern your data product. So what you can do is you have the domain, like the department or team, you can have that. So finance, procurement, you'll have your own cube, the reports, the metadata, the government security. So that's how we should build your domain that's across the different function of a specific organization. And then you'll have your own workspace and then the different items. But then again, Drizzle, we don't have much of an investment, or we only have a limited budget. Usually what we do is, okay, for now, we can combine, let's say for Luzon, we can combine Region 1 and Region 5 on a specific workspace. And then depending on how you utilize or consumed, then if region one can already have their own workspace, then that's it. That's how easy it is on how you can scale and manage your data estate plan. So that's FAMDAP. Okay. Now let's go to the next. All right. So this FAMWOW, it's like the ways of working. Wow is just a ways of working. There's nothing fancy. This architecture is not from me. It's on Microsoft Learn. So feel free to also check on the resources on Microsoft Learn. You'll also see more about the technology. All right. So here, this is on how your development team, your analysts, your Power BI developers, your data architects will work together, your CI/CD. This is just simple. Like you build it within your Power BI desktop. Let's say I am a developer. How you gonna approve it and move it? So there, you have the branch policy and all. But I think during GPPB, Derani, one of the speakers also presented this. So gone are the days, I remember the example of Derani. Like when you see Power BI, right? When you make some changes, like SFR, income statement, July 1, 1.0, 1.1.1, 1.1.3, and then all and all. But here, if we're gonna do the right ways of working, you'll avoid that. Because when we change even just a simple color or adjust, measure or added a filter at the top, anyway, there's another version, like another layer, and how we can make it sustainable when it comes to documentation. Oh, you need to update the FTDD again, right? For the reports. And then next, Tony, sorry, almost there. The how are you going to adopt the FAMA, the simple architecture? It's just this easy steps. We also created a playbook, like a guided step, so it's easy for you to understand. Like always start with the vision on your strategy when you build it. The why. And why are we building this? Are we happy? If you're happy, then why move? Okay? Why you need to adopt? There's still your why. There's still your vision in your organization. And then, of course, everything starts with a plan. Without a plan, everything will fail. I mean, it's not just for data, but also for other applications, right? And then the setup, right? So ensure that you start with a trial. There's a 60-day fabric trial. Try it. See for yourself, or run a pilot in your organization and challenge if it will really meet the requirements in your organization. And then that's the time that you're on the execution. If it's just, so SMB, like simple setup organization, you still need to run a pilot. You just need to choose or do a prioritization. But if it's like global, still the same. Choose a specific country, a specific domain, and a team who will work with you. Okay? Because it's still a collaboration project. And then governance. Governance is very important. You should lay the groundwork properly. Because this is like most of failed implementation is because we don't have the right governance in place. That's where the questions of like data integrity, security and stuff, compliance, regulation. So here. And then we have the ALM connected to our wow, our ways of working. And the support. Okay, this is very important. Adoption, enablement, and support. Because even if we have those great architecture, great solution, you have the best developers, architects. But then after the project implementation, it's gone. And okay, first month they're using it, you can see. And then after, okay, nothing, there's no follow through, there's no improvement and all. Okay, because again, it all boils down when you create something, a data product, you tell a story, there's insights, there's impact. But if there's none, I mean, everything is zero again. And then we need to think of, okay, what's the next solution? Or we're stuck. Okay, so here, just remember this, and yes, just to for me to wrap up, if you can share. Sorry, there's really a timer. At least I'm on my key takeaways now. um, if you can, let's go back to Slido. If you can share like your key takeaways, it can be like a keyword, it can be a sentence, it can be a phrase. We would like to know. And I'm sorry if I'm only just giving you a free taste of the concepts, but we can have like a separate discussion. I would love to like give you details on the architecture, have examples, and showcase the real ones. It's different when you can see it on the platform, how we did the workspace and all. And then, of course, sample data. That's very important, right? So there. Adoption to Fabric, move with technology, continuous learning. Yeah, that's correct. That's very important. Thank you for sharing the key takeaways. Let's just wait for the 5 more. So while waiting for the 5 more questions, I will answer it. We can have a chat later. So the session will continue. Okay. And everything about Fabric adoption. Yes. Thank you, everyone. At least you've learned something. And just a quick 30-minute discussion. Sorry, I will skip that. But this one, please scan another QR code. Pam from the Microsoft Power BI team asked me to share this. There's a gift from Power BI. It's a 50% voucher. Yeah, so just go ahead and scan that. So Power BI is celebrating its birthday, but he got a gift for you, for everyone. So there. And then, while waiting, can I plug Tech ba yan? Ay, yeah, not started. Just save it first. Sorry. Preempt. And then just refresh it later. Or you can just keep it in your notes for the campaign. All right? Okay. Or Tony will post it on Power BI Pilipinas. Okay. And then can I do a palag? Okay. So we have an upcoming. So we had a successful Tech Banyan 2024. So that was last year. It was August. And this time, we're gonna go big. Or we go home. No, we have Tech Bayanihan 2025 covering data and AI para sa bayan. So last year, it was Copilot para sa bayan. Now this time, it's all about data and AI. And it's gonna be longer because we heard you, we heard your feedback. It's gonna be 3 or 4 days. Before it was just 2 days. So it's longer now. We'll have workshop, exercise, laboratory. There will be job fair, a lot more. It's going to be a journey made by your community for your community. So hope we'll see you Tech Banyan 2025. And that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy to connect with you later.
No problem. Thank you, Driz. Always. So many things to learn with Fabric. Always. It doesn't end.